Hello, BookTube. It's Sunday, so I thought this was going to be my last of the transport shelves, but there's one more after, or three-quarters of one after this. It sort of continues on. I used the space up on the shelf for books about books. That's where I thought. So I thought, oh well, I don't have that, but I've got Blu-rays in front of it, as you can sort of see. Well, it's just above that with this one here. So I thought it was all books about books. Okay, this is a little bit of everything. First one is The Impact of Railways on Victorian Cities. And it is Routledge Keegan Paul, 1969, by John R. Kellett, who at that time seems to have been a senior lecturer in economic history, University of Glasgow. And it's series in studies in social history, and I've known about this series for some time, and there's quite a list, and they're very nice. They're very, very good. This one is excellent. It's a little tough going at times because of some of the economic stuff in there. Let's see here. Yeah, these are sort of three of a series, not complete, I don't think. No. It's the Harbors of the Forth, Harbors of the Solent, and Dorset Harbors. And there's a lot more. There's like Harbors of the Clyde, Devon Harbors, Dorset, like a whole series of these, which would be kind of nice. The Solent is written by John Scott Hughes, and it is Christopher Johnson is the publisher, and it was published. There's an inscription that says 1956, June 1st, 1956. And there's no other date in here that I can see at the moment. So we'll say sometime in the first half of the 50s or before. Harbors of the Forth by Guy Christie, also published by Christopher Johnson. Again, no date that I can see. Oh, there it is. It's usually copyright page is on the back of the title page. This one is in front of the, well, it's actually on the back of the half title. So this is published in 1955 for the Harbors of the Forth. It's just a general book, but it's quite nice. These are it'd be something that I wouldn't mind getting the complete set of if I ever saw them again. So let's look at this other one. Let's see what date they had here. 1956. So it's a contemporary inscription in that one. This is Dorset Harbors by Donald Payne. Christopher Johnson again, and this one has the copyright page in the right place. The copyright 1953. This is The Archaeology of the Cable Car by W. W. Hanscom, edited and introduction by Walt Wheelock. Jacket's a bit rough, but it is distributed by Golden West Books, published by Socio-Technical Books, 1970, Pasadena. Now, I haven't had it in 1970. It's not so much well, it's they are investigating it. I haven't read it, but it's I think American Cable Cars, but I couldn't pass it up for the title because it was so cheap. Yeah, and they, it's just an investigation into it. It's not really archaeology in that sense, in the excavation sense. Oh, here's another It's not part of that series, though, of the canals, but it's David and Charles. This is the Grand Junction Canal by Alan H. Faulkner, 1972. Oh, yes, it's these bloody sets. They're just so nice. This is the Inland Waterways Histories, edited by Charles Hadfield, the same guy who did the canal ones. And there's a whole list. There's like about 10 or 12 here, and then in preparation. Whether they finished them all or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, there's just so many to get. And here's another one, the Dorset and Somerset Canal. This is Canals of British Isles series. So it's a little different. They're different than the other one. But it's it seems to be the Inland Waterway series. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. This is part of the Inland Waters series, this volume. And that's David and Charles again, that came out in 1971. But then on the back, I think, yeah, they list some of the Canal Ways series. This is Windmills of England. Sort of a little out of the area a little bit, but it's sort of still like, how do things get to windmills and everything? They're on the roads, sort of. That's the idea. It's a little weak for the connection, but I'm interested in them anyway. This is Robert Hale, publisher R.J. Brown, 1976. And yeah, it's just a general history of windmills in England. Another one, Windmills and Mill Writing by Staniel Rees, Cambridge University Press. This is a nice older cover, the plain sort of, I don't know what color you'd call that, grayish, I guess. 1957. And again, it's just, but it's got some nice, to be careful with this. It's almost like it's tissue paper, like, yeah, I don't want to open that with one hand. But there's several pullouts, and let me see if I can find an illustration actually to show. There we go. Just mill writing. Here we go. Yeah, there's another one of the series, British Canals. This one is sort of the general volume to that series. I was quite sure I had this. And it's Charles Hadfield as well. It's a general one. David and Charles, 1969. It's the 4th edition. But it's like, they bought Readers Union, which is a book club. By the looks of it, must have bought copies and arrangement, and it just stuck a label in on the David and Charles one and say, oh, it's a Readers Union edition. Well, yeah, I suppose so. But yeah, it's a little iffy on that. Oh, this is kind of interesting. I got a few books on ballooning. It's called Falling Upwards by Richard Holmes, and this is the Richard Holmes who is he did a fabulous 2-volume biography of Coleridge, and he's an excellent writer. Let's see what it says here. Well, he also did Age of Wonder, shortlisted for Samuel Johnson Prize for the Royal Society Prize for Science Books and the National Book Critics Award. Yeah, there's the Coleridge one here, the 2 volumes, and this is a basically a chronicle of, as it says, how we took to the air, ballooning. And this is 2013 by Pantheon Books. And here's another one, King of All Balloons. The adventurous life of James Sadler and the first English aeronaut. Mark Davies, forward by Sir Richard Branson. I never noticed that. Afterward by Don Cameron. As if Branson knows anything about flying. Yeah, lots of colored inserts in here. This is, let me see, 2015 by Amberley is the publisher. Excuse me for a minute. The weight ball, it's getting warm here, and there's alert for thunderstorms coming up as well. Here's a publisher that I sort of have a not love-hate, and not really love, and I don't hate them. It's just they're very general, and they're very short books generally. It's Pen and Sword. They have some wonderful titles, though. And this is The Men Who Gave Us Wings, Britain and the Airplane, 1796 to 1914 by Peter Rees. And this is 2014 by Pen and Sword. You see, like they usually hover around anywhere literally from 150 pages to 250 maximum. Some are bigger, yes. But they're... Yeah, I don't know. I just have a... you know, I will pick them up when I see them. And here's another one. Letters from an Early Bird. The Life and Letters of Dennis Corbett Wilson, 1882 to 1950 by Donald McCarran. And you can see this is really a lot slimmer. Like, it's only 176 pages when it's wet with the index and everything. So it's 2006 by Pen and Sword. Their aviation series. They've got, I've seen recently there's some interesting ones. It's like the archaeology of the dead or something like that. They're interesting topics that might be a good jumping off point, and I'd be more interested in it for the bibliography. There's a few. Oh, here's one it's in really rough shape, the jacket. It's like the jacket is pretty well obliterated or partially obliterated. It's 20 Locomotive Men, and it was only like, it was £2, so I couldn't pass it up. It's just little bios of literally 20 Locomotive Men, but look at how beautiful that frontispiece is. This is by C. Hamilton Ellis, and it's Ian Allen Limited, published in 1958. And yeah, they're just little bios of railwaymen. So that's quite actually nice. So it looks like it's got a bit of a curve to it there. I didn't notice as well. Let's see here. Oh yeah, another one that's sort of, it's similar to a few others. The English Farm Wagon. I find this quite interesting. And again, I love this with when it has the same design for the back as if it's the front. It could be interchangeable, except the photograph is different. This is by J. Gerant Jenkins, the Oakwood Press. I really need to get this in a sort of dust jacket protector because I like the jacket. It's got some little ephemera thrown in here. This was published, as I say, the Oakwood Press, for the Museum of English Rural Life, University of Reading, 1961. And it's just a description of farm wagons, like box wagons. The Eastern cut, like, you know, gives a little bio sort of where these were built, when they were built, and so forth. It's quite, I find that quite fascinating. Just as something as interest, that's all. Railway Engineers by O.S. Knock, who you could fill a library with his books. This is a nice other Batsford. That's another publisher I really like. 1955. And there's the man himself. Isambard Kingdom Bernal. Now, what would you, like, you name your child? Middle name's going to be Kingdom. I always found that kind of weird. Here's now traction engines. This is a nice older, just general book on traction engines. And by Philip Wright. And it's advertising a book, Historical Steam Locomotives by O.S. Knock, again on the back. Guy just wrote everything. This is, it's nothing superb about this one, but it's interesting. It's Adam and Charles. It's got color frontispiece and 23 drawings. A really nice frontispiece. And what year was this done? It's 1959, but it's a 1960 reprint. So there's lots of other photos in here and drawings. And oh yeah, I remember this. Where's this from? The Countryman. It's just like a little article somebody's nipped out of September 1965. The Countryman, and it looks like it would have been an interesting. I think it might be still done, but I like the idea of it being this size, the digest size. I've never actually seen copies of it, so. But those would be kind of interesting to have. Sort of it's a precarious pile here, so let's get this sorted. That's gonna go flying definitely if I don't sort it. There we go. Sport each other a little bit. Royal River Highway, history of the passenger boats and services on the River Thames. David and Charles again. I think this is the one I've been looking for. I think it's yes, it's got a huge section, an appendix in the back, and it is marvelous. It's got like the name of the vessel, Daisy, registration number. Well, this one doesn't have it. Builder location, they're not sure. Date built, length or tonnage, they're not sure. Well, let's use another one. Here we go. Dryad Duchess, and it's like, the builder was James Taylor. Date built was 1836. It's 123 feet length, the owners and dates of the ownership for it, and it's just a fabulous thing. And like there's other ones here. The names of vessels. It's all alphabetical. It's a huge. It's like 100 page or 150 page. Section on just the listing of the vessels. I just found that just fantastic. But it's put together by Frank L. Dix, and it's David and Charles, as I said, 1985. So it's a late one for David and Charles for me, but it's actually still nice, very nice. Okay, now we have a little bit of difficulty with these. Piles aren't too steady. Okay, let's look at this. Tales of Old Inns. Okay, that's another one. This is a general, figure out somewhere to put these. It's a very general book, but it's a nice looking book. I think it was £1, so I couldn't pass it up. Richard Kavanagh, revised and edited by Hammond Innes, with 74 illustrations. Just wondering if that's the Hammond Innes. It doesn't say. The crime fiction writer. This is St. Collins, St. James. It's like the 6th edition, 1955, originally 1939. It's a fun little book. But yeah, there's a good chance that that's Hammond Innes, the crime fiction writer. Okay, Victorian Stations, Gordon Biddle. As a David and Charles again, 1973. Yeah, it's a Batsford. It's one of those newer Batsfords that Batsford went downhill basically for me. Definitely 70s upwards, but they still did some okay stuff. This one is going to be 80s, I think. No, it's 1976, but it's just a picture. It's fine for what it is. It's just a picture book, and it's the Victorian and Edwardian Navy from old photographs, which is fine for it in itself. Like, I probably pay like a maximum for it. It would have been £1. Looked like somebody had £10 on it at some point, but no way. I would have paid that for it. And this is commentaries by John Fabb, introduction by A.P. McGowan, who was head of Department of Ships and senior curator, National Maritime Museum in Greenwich. So it's B.T. Batsford, as I say. So, yeah, just a very, very general book. Nothing spectacular. Oh, here's another one. Yeah, it's like they must have had a whole series of these things. This is Victorian Edwardian boating from old photographs. Neil Wigglesworth. And just trying to see, there's no date that I can see on this one either. Oh, there it is, 1987. That's where I was thinking the other one was, but yeah, it's just a photograph book, and that's all she wrote for that. Here's one that's sort of similar, but it's not a B.T. Batsford. Faded on the spine, but I think I got these all at the same time. Not sure. I don't think this was in a bookshop. I think this was in a charity shop that I got these. This is Vintage Buses and Trains in South Wales, edited by Stuart Williams. Consultants John F. Andrews, Viv Corbin, Chris Taylor, and E.A. Thomas. Stuart Williams, Barry, publisher, 1975. Never heard of them. Doesn't say it's a subsidiary or anything, but yeah, it's just, again, it's a similar thing. Lots of photographs, by area, and that's it for that one. Another windmill one, the English Windmill, by Rex Wales, Rutledge, Keegan Paul, 1954. Oh, somebody inlaid a little stamp here with the windmill on it. That's kind of nice. And yeah, this one is quite nice. I remember reading a little section. I remember reading the machinery part 2 to it, and it's got a lot of photographs as well. Let's try to get some more of the books here. Oh, that's it for there. I've got a few more to go. English Railways, The Beginnings, Development, and Personalities, Vernon Summerfield. This one I like a lot. It's a big general one. It is by, Vernon Summerfield, Thomas and Nilsson and Sons. Nice frontispiece there. Published in 1937. So it's kind of nice. It still has the dust jacket on. Here we go. 3 Mile Limit. Shipping Scene Round Britain's Coast. A very, very general book, but I thought it was worth grabbing for. So it's got £15 in here. There's no way I would have paid £15 for it. It's got a really nice stamp on it there. let's see here. It's Shipping from Britain's Coast, written and illustrated by David Cobb, which is a fairly big illustrator, if I remember right. Phoenix House, forward by Hugh Rutledge, and this was first published in 1950. But again, it's not something I would have paid more than £1 or £2 for. Tales of the Western Railway and Speak of the Devil, O.S. Knock. Another David and Charles book. This is Informal Recollections of a Near Lifetime's Association with the Line. So it is about O.S. Knock, who's a railway enthusiast. Published in 1984. Another O.S. Knock, Railway Archaeology. Just nothing spectacular. Again, one of these cheaper ones. Patrick Stevens, publisher, 1981. And just lots of photographs and just a very general book. Here's another one of these things. This is another David and Charles, the LMS Pacific, London, is that right? London. Oh, it's I forget what the LMS stands for fully. Oh, somebody put £7 in there in pen. What a knobhead! Even though it's not a great book, but what bookseller? That's a knobhead to put it in pen. So it's a very general book. It's J.W.P. Rowledge, civil engineer, published 1987. Again, when David and Charles was really on their last legs to a certain extent for quality of books. And the last one here is The Railway Barons by David Mountfield. It's an Osprey. It's a bigger for an Osprey book. They're known for their uniform series. And I believe it's the same publisher as far as I know. 1979. This is, David Mountfield. And it's just a little overview of the big barons of railways. So there's shelf 8 and as I say, there's another shelf, or it's 3/4 of a shelf right up here. So I'll get that done Wednesday, so that gives me a little more time to figure out something else. So that's it, BookTube. I hope everybody's doing well. Take care.